we've had to learn the record in order for these reunion shows. And I think the sequencing makes so much sense to me at this point. It's a perfect sort of like, if it's like, a lineup in baseball, it's a perfect second hitter. You want your leadoff on base. The second person is just supposed to, do things and like keep momentum going, but it almost flips things around. All right, let's slow down. Let's sort of be deliberate. The trumpet thing announces something. I think the rest of the song is so staid and relaxed. And then the next song, honestly, is this kind of, driving upbeat thing, like what a 3-hole hitter should be. And, off we go.
Honestly is, one of our more rocking songs for American football. Kind of starts in kind of a straight 4/4. And the conception of that one, so Mike wrote that opening riff, and we're basically playing the same part. So he's playing, like the melody that we're playing is the intro before the drums come in. We're both playing that same thing, but he's on the upbeat and I'm on the downbeat. And it's kind of funny, like it feels like it has like a stutter start, like almost like a mess up. And what people don't realize, like, that's on purpose. That's because what you're hearing is the upbeat, and then we come in on the down, so it feels like an abrupt thing when the drums come in. And so that basically the two guitar parts, it's just like one is chasing the other the whole time.
Yeah, I guess writing honestly was the first time. I mean, I can't think of another example. I don't know where we got the idea where we play the same exact part, but I just play the same thing on the ups right behind him. And it gives a delay effect, which you could very easily mimic on a pedal, but we're sitting on a couch and we were bored, and we had, for whatever reason, we were both interested in this. We thought it was clever enough that it warranted practicing. So, yeah. And then I remember trying to play this one when we had to relearn it for the reunion shows. I don't know if there's a version where I was singing and playing originally. I don't remember doing that. But realizing that I have to play the ups and then sing on the downs and sing, it was like, whoa, this is a mind fuck. Like, yeah. So that one, just muscle memory.
I think we used to even call it like the Rebel song. Like there's that David Bowie thing. And I remember them figuring out, well, all right, so it sounds like David Bowie. What are we going to do with it? And then they started staggering it almost round style, downbeat, upbeat, in the way that only, like young people would be like, oh, this is cool. I still love it though. Like it's still one of my favorite ones to play. Picture this.
Well, I remember tracking the vocals to honestly and filling these big gaps with the high, like teen dreams. Like there was just space there, and we realized like, is there anything we can put in here to sort of like fill this out? Because there was just too much space.
I think that was actually Lamos's idea. So basically the guitar part is sort of in a call and response style. And he's like, oh, what if the vocals did the same thing? So why don't you double yourself, like say the same line in a call and response style to kind of mimic what the guitars are doing?
So possibly my most cringe-worthy lyrics in some aspects, but I'm also like, yeah, it solved that problem, all right. And it's so fun to be far enough removed. Like if you were doing this as a 5-year thing, I'd be so embarrassed by all of it that I would have probably just said no. But now as a grown man, I'm kind of like, oh, that's why, a kid version of me made this choice or whatever. And I'm still singing them for the world to hear. So I wasn't too embarrassed, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I stand by it all now as a grown up, but it took some time.
I can imagine Mike doesn't necessarily like singing it because lyrically it's very rooted, in that time. But I think it's such a fun driving thing. And then there's the shift. There's a whole vibe shift right in the middle, right? There's this kind of the rebel thing. And then Steve and I do this thing, and we still do it live, and we still do it the same way. And then the end is one of my most enjoyable moments of any live show, and of that record too, frankly, is the kind of big, sweeping, Jay Mascis, My Bloody Valentine guitar thing, and the bang bang of the drums at the end. Yeah, I like that one. I still like that one. And so even though the lyrics are sort of rooted in a certain moment, it's a blast to play that song even still.
The long extended outro we wrote around this little cyclical riff that I had, which is, I'm basically in a 4, but Lamos is playing a 6/8 against it. So there's a lot of, polyrhythm happening. And then Mike does, his version of a guitar solo over that outro part. The outro, I think, was like kind of our version of, inspired by My Bloody Valentine or some of the noisier Red House Painters tracks. We wanted to have like a kind of a big swirling part, and then that's like one of the few that has a synth part. I played the little Prophet, whatever keyboard they had at the studio, that has like a roiling low bass note that's just kind of rumbling under the whole outro.
That might be is that the only synth part on the record? We had to drop some low bass, like low end synth note, and then there's like percussion. You know what I mean? We knew we wanted to build that out. I'm trying to think maybe what 20 or 21-year-old me's, what would be the inspiration for that part specifically? I don't know. Some of them I know, like, I'm trying to sound like Ida, or I'm trying to sound like whatever. That part, I don't know. That might be more like maybe Lamos took over on that one and sort of pushed it into like a weirder zone.
That was like one of our main tricks. It's like we take apart, play it forever, but there's sort of subtle changes within. Like the drums do like a different thing on the tom to kind of build it up, and then Mike kind of switches from that bendy part into these little spindly kind of single note melodies that he does and harmonizes. And then at the very end, in the studio, I wrote, like with like a minute left in the song, there's this other riff that comes in, and I kind of wrote that last minute to sync up with the little spindly guitars that Mike's playing.